got our goal, and we got to go out there and just, test out different strategies. Take action. If what we do doesn't work, is it failure? Is it failure? No. We get feedback. So we're going to take that feedback and be flexible. Go back and change our strategy until it works, right? So very often, sometimes, when I share this formula with people, and again, this applies to anything as well. So, but some people say things like, but Adam, circumstances are not always what? Ideal. Things don't always turn out the way we want, yes or no? So like some people say, I can do my best, but my husband doesn't support me, or my wife doesn't support me, or they say things like, the grandmother spoils him, or my kid's just defiant, or the friends influence him the wrong way. What will you do? I can do my best, I can do the rest, Sometimes we feel like this in the things we do. Do things always turn out the way we want, yes or no? Do we always get the mother-in-law we want, yes or no? No? That's what my wife said. Okay. We don't always get the kind of kids to behave the way we want. Things are not always perfect. But in life, how many of you think that we always have a choice to make changes to things? How do you think that's possible? Yeah? I find that people in life fall into two main mindsets. There are some people where they live their life below the line. Alright? Some people, they live their life above the line. So what's the difference? People who live below the line, they tend to feel that their life, they're not in control of it. They feel that I want to make changes, but I can't because there are other things controlling the factors, and I can't make changes. But these are people who have the feeling that what? I'm in control, I can make changes. People who are here, they tend to do three things. Again, it's an attitude, it's a habit, right? The first thing they do, when things don't turn out the way they want, they tend to find a lot of what? Excuses. So they say things like, well, I got no time to do it. It's because my kid is just very naughty. It's because the weather is too hot. Because my mate is no good. Right? They find reasons. Okay? I'm not saying the reasons are not true. No. A lot of times they are true. But we use it as a reason for ourselves to not be able to achieve what we want. And the second thing is, people who play below the line, they do the next thing. They tend to do this thing called what, everyone? Blame, right? They blame the whole galaxy, right? They blame everyone except themselves, right? And the third thing is, these people, sometimes they don't do anything, they just like to bitch and complain, okay? How many of you know people who are like that? How many of you are like that? Okay. But let's be honest, do all of us do this sometimes? All of us do this sometimes, right? Because we are human beings. I also blame, I also give excuses. Like just now I blame my staff for not telling you where to come. Okay. So I also do this sometimes, okay? But don't worry, I'll sort it. I'm really sorry that some of you went to the wrong place. I really want to find out what happened. Okay? My apologies. But sometimes, right, when we blame and we give excuses, sometimes is it good? Sometimes is it good? Yes or no? Let me go know, right? How do you find that sometimes in life, right, when you complain and you bitch and you blame, right, you actually feel better after that? Yeah, so it's actually very therapeutic, right? It's good for health. Yeah, true or not? But at the same time, how people sometimes in life, not only do you like to complain and blame people, but sometimes you like to hear your friends complain about your own life. Because when you hear people complain about their own life, right, you feel your life is not so bad, right? So it's therapeutic for you also, right? Okay. But that's why we watch soap operas, right? We look at other people complain about their life and we feel better about life. My point is this. When we do this, I'm not saying it's wrong. But when we do this, sometimes it feels good. But after a while, if we keep blaming and giving excuses again and again and again, guess what? After a while, we go around in what? Circles. Yeah, very negative energy and we feel stuck. The keywords, we feel stuck. We say, there's nothing we can do. It's just like that. Because when we blame someone, we say, okay, because of that person, that's why I can't get a result. When we blame someone, that means who is controlling our result? We or someone? Someone. If someone is controlling our result, can we change our result? No, because it's not our fault. It's that person's fault. So I figured something that the moment we blame someone, we are giving them power over us really. Because we're not in control anymore. Right? So these people, their mindset in life is always what? It's not my fault. It's not him, it's fault. Okay. So they feel, there's nothing I can do because it's hopeless. And these people tend to play the role of what? They play the role of victim. Now, how many of you again know certain kids who are very indifferent sometimes? Like whatever, fail. Have you discovered that? Now, why are some kids like that? Because they are in this frame where they feel there's nothing I can do. It's not my fault. It's because the subject is not interesting. It's because the teacher is stupid. And as long as they feel that, they feel stuck. But sometimes as teachers and parents, sometimes we also get stuck in the level. Right? But we know one thing. People who are able to produce results and changes in their life, is it because they always have the best conditions? No, right? Sometimes they got the most challenging conditions. Right? But it's because they come from a very, very different mindset or paradigm. They believe whatever happens to me, alright, I must, if I want control, I must take 100%, what everybody? Responsibility. That means whatever is happening right now to my kid, whatever is happening to my career or my job or whatever, right, I created it. Either directly or indirectly. Either consciously or unconsciously. Because the moment we take responsibility for something, right, it means who is creating it? We are. And if we are creating it, who can change it? We can. So if you think about it, the moment we take responsibility for something, we are putting ourselves, or we are giving ourselves the power. Okay? We are now in charge. We feel that we are in control of our what? Life. So this is the same thing I share with the kids. Right? So these people, they are, remember we talked about attitude just now? What would be a useful attitude would be, I've got this poster right behind, you don't have to see it, but I'll read it to you. It says, for things to change, I must what? I must change first. Okay, how do you think is a useful way of looking at life? Right? For things to change, I must change first. Because the more I change, the things around us begin to change. But a lot of people are in this mindset, a lot of kids are like that also. They say, what? For things to change, the teacher must change. For things to change, my mother must change. Right? For things to change, the subject exam must be easier. Right? But nothing will change unless we change first. But does this apply to us as parents as well? It applies, right? Let me share this with you. Now I meet a lot of parents and teachers, and some teachers and some parents, they say things like, you know what, my kid is just very defiant. He's a donkey. You know donkey? You tell him to do right, he won't listen. He's just very defiant. Now, I'm not saying the kid is not at fault. I'm not saying that. But my point is this. As long as we have this belief that my kid is just defiant one, okay, then is there anything we can do to change it? If we have this belief that he's just defiant? We can't, because it's not us, it is him. Right? So by taking on this belief, right, he's just defiant, right, that means there's nothing that he's going to listen to us about. Right? Now, but instead of blaming, right, saying, oh, he's just defiant, how could we take responsibility for it? And what new actions can we take? Now, again, there's no right or wrong one. This is just your opinion. Okay? Anybody want to share your thoughts? Instead of blaming and say that he is defiant, how could we take responsibility for it? In other words, how can we say that we actually created it? Maybe the way you talk to them. The choice of words. Thank you, right? Can you give her a hand? Okay? So she said the tone, the choice of words has made them defiant. Okay, possibly. Anyone else? How about you, ma'am? Yeah. The more you push, the more you resist. For certain kinds of people, right? Thank you, right? Can you give her a hand? Okay, right? So, now let me ask you this question. If we say that the kid is defiant, right? That means he doesn't listen, right? But will there be people the kid listens to? Right? Sure, go on, right? Like example, his stupid friends. Okay. Or maybe with an uncle, right? So if he is defiant with us, why is he not defiant with someone else? Alright, so there must be a reason.